Society has obvious major problems. They cannot truly be fixed from a moral standpoint, a spiritual standpoint, or even a decent person's standpoint. They have everything to do with fun, right, versus happiness, functionalism, right, versus happy, which is not the deity of the Nile in Egypt that I'm referring to, but rather the up-I, okay? And it has to do with being content. What is the content of the hut, the temple, the tent, or the body of the person? What is the content of the tent that you're living in? I tell you the truth, if I had a beautiful daughter who was more beautiful than anyone else and got all A's at Harvard, I would rather have her sleep on the beach or under a freeway in a tent with a righteous sabotage hero than the richest man on earth or the most socially acceptable. If I found out that she turned down this righteous man for a rich man or someone that everyone else on the planet approved of, I would disown her. Period. Wouldn't think twice. That is not a daughter of mine. You are not expressing your father's genes. My exotic and unique circumstances versus different types of guys. I'll go through 3 major types. Pretty much every other guy is a variation of one or more of these types. Okay, different paths and devil types. There's cultural, social, political, economic, okay, religious, quote unquote spiritual, right? Boundaries in the way. And these boundaries, from what I gather, will never be addressed. And I will be sure that I'm right when I die without my rightful place and without society's submission. This is the only thing that could ever make me change my mind. You can't cheat somebody from such a noble family as mine, wipe out his bloodline, right? When he's supposed to lead society and think that anyone else or even everyone else together is qualified to lead, even themselves, much less anyone else. So let's think about the different types. We're going to talk about things that are like RoboCop type of guys, shallow kind of guys, ditzy guys, guys who throw fits and start acting like ninnies when they're upset, okay? And we'll talk about why the true alpha isn't allowed. There's sugar, right? When I was younger, they're making it so I can't drink these water drinks. I have to drink a lot of soda just to get what little water is in it, and I'm developing a sugary face. Okay, if I have time, if I remember, I'll put at the end of this video faces of my father, a picture you haven't seen, and Igbos during the Civil War. These are rough face guys. This is not my gene expression. This is a Western kind of variation of me that I've been resisting, and they covertly drug me and harassed me with 17 witnesses to enforce. And for what? Because they want females to keep choosing these 3. So we have the big 3 races and a bunch of token minorities, right? Whites, Jews, and Asians. And they're trying to get everyone to do it their way and to date these 3 types of people. The nerd, the cop, the military, the intelligence agency guy, sort of guy, right? The security guard kind of guy, right? Think about their body types. And the Ichabod, the Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, the vegan, okay? They have their Asian and other counterparts, okay? These are the big 3. The nerd, as I've gone over before, is a play on words for dragon, okay? Dragon, right? Drain O, okay? You can remove the G, or you can just think of G as Ki, the Sumerian earth goddess, and you get the word nerd from the word play with interchangeable vowel to L, dragon, right? Which Lord do you worship? The Lord of this world or the one true God? The Lord of this world has variations in different cults. Apollo, Zeus, Zagreus, Poseidon, Enki, Loki, Thor, and so on and so forth. Okay, these are all variations of a core evil, rebellious against the martial art order idea. The true martial art order ends with me. Examples, right? Soros, Bill and Melinda Gates, okay? This guy who owns Amazon, okay? Kissinger, all right? A lot of presidents and congressmen, they come off as nerds, right? Think tanks for these people especially, okay? A lot of successful businessmen, especially a lot of English people, right? They come off as textbook nerds, right? The Royal Scientific Society or whatever, right? All right. Nerds are really pathetic. Okay. If you're a nerd, it's like saying you're a bitch and turn around and saying you're not pathetic. But you've labeled yourself a bitch. A nerd doesn't have heart. Show me one example of a nerd who's really manly, right, with intense masculinity, who has heart. They don't exist. So as soon as you label yourself a nerd, it is like saying you're in rebellion against the idea that you should stop at everything to truly be a man, morally upright, mature, focused, right, intense, right, determined, dedicated, right, dedicated to true morality. A nerd in the absence of the divine order by default is evil and is the core idea of the culture. He is the cultural core. Apollo, some people have called him the Lord of Masonry. Science, right? Medicine, poetry, bows and arrows, right? Plagues. These are nerd things. Mad scientists with a bow and arrow like Artemis or something with a thong. Okay, these are weirdos. These are sugar, cartoon-faced Harry Potter with a magic wand instead of a martial artist stick fighting, right? Getting to the bottom of it, tati, right? I forgot the whole saying of it. It is getting to the bottom of a matter through the use of a stick, right? Getting to the truth, to the heart of the matter, right? Not to the nerd, illusion, magic trick, liar. I can't stress that enough. When these Ivy League women choose the nerd as one of the greatest failures of humanity and mankind, you need to make sure you don't choose these three. Haven't you learned anything after all those things you've researched? None of these three are good enough for the most intelligent and healthy of women. Okay? These people have put themselves in a position willingly, right? Whether they feel threatened or not. They've come to the conclusion that they're going to be these things, and in the repetitive motion of these things, in the repetition of these things. Repetition in this context, rape I to shun. That goes back to using illusion to get females to do what they otherwise wouldn't do. And you have to have that martial art, Horus order point of reference. Anyway, number two, the cop, the military, the intelligence agency, right? This RoboCop kind of security guard way of doing things. There's a spectrum here, right? These guys are often considered patriots. They're bullies. They're bullying you, not for pure morality and to restore the divine order. No, they're bullying you to restore the order out of chaos, the illusion-based rape culture with the nerd idea in the center. Okay? Even in public perceptions, they're shallow and they're not that fun, right? Dating a cop, right? We hear that they're abusive, they're controlling, right? They're not that fun, whether they are or not, to be diplomatic, okay? And that goes back to society, functionalism. So this is part of the reason why they prefer the nerd to these people. But in my lifetime, I've given thousands of women the opportunity, attractive women at that, to choose the hero, and they've chosen to be bitches and cowards instead. So this is no small study. I've been looking for attractive women for, going on 3 decades. Okay, taking a lot of my day every day. I'm looking to restore the divine order and to establish Horus as the ideal man, and it is their divine duty to do that. If they don't do that, they are animals. This is why animus means spirit in Western culture, and psyche means mind and soul, because they pretend to have a soul because they're in the spirit of animals of this world. Okay, the bull, the dragon, the jackal. The bikers also have a lot of parallels. They're in the same kind of big biker, right? Big biker cop, woof, woof, vroom, right? And their bikers are often patriotic. Look it up. They're often socially acceptable despite what they want you to think. It's like saying rock and roll is rebellion against the culture instead of socially acceptable. Stupid, right? Okay, so don't confuse serious with mature. Maturity and being a man has everything to do with standing on your own 10 toes. The moment it is a matter of pure righteousness and morality versus conformity and, you're supposed to stand on your own 10 toes, that can be what one describes as the core of being a man. Okay? What it really means to be a man is to restore the divine order, and part of that is being able to stand on your own 10 toes. Okay? Responsible. Response to what? Right? Okay. And it also goes back to the point of reference as nature. You can't let a bunch of pedophile, rape, Greco-Roman, Sumerian cults define civilization and redefine man. Okay, what it means to be a man? It's stupid. So it also goes back to the Mustang, right? The bikes, the designs, right? Some of these bikes are to be designed after airplanes. The Mustang, I was told, was designed after the cockpit of an airplane or something to this effect, right? This has military-like origins. Air Force, airplanes, right? Technique, right? Tech, right? Tiger, the eye of the gear, the T, the feminine suffix, the eye, the vision, the perspective of those who wear gear, right? The N-word, no gear, tech, take, technique, technical, technocrat. Okay. So what you see here is the dark fun and the social acceptance and the cultural enforcement. When a female dates one of these three, they're reinforcing the culture of this world. If these people don't want that truth, you know, I suggest they stop being these things, right? You know, and they come together with me and they restore the divine order. Number 3, okay, the Ichabod type, right? This guy's not as smart. You know, these guys know a few things quite often. Right? They might even be teachers, but they're not quite nerds. They're just kind of shaggy do, right? Vegan types. They're, you know, some of them tend to be smart. You know, liberals, some of them tend to be smart. But this is another kind, right? This is like the pitiful peasant type. This is the emasculated. The other two are like vying for ideas of masculinity, right? The mask, muscular, mask, right? They're hiding behind their muscle. If a woman gets a, you know, can lift 500 pounds, does that make her a man? Does that make her, she should be in charge? No, right? It's throwing your weight around, right? Hiding behind your muscle. Mask, the mask in masculinity versus what it truly means to be a man without the manhood covering up the truth, right? So, you know, all right. So when we look at it, right, this is a generational descent, right? These people are in the repetition of a culture of this world. According to their own Bible, Satan is the god of this world, and they're complying with the cultures and the profane and obscene and rape cult-based, pagan culture-based, right? Lupercalia, the wolf, fertility cults, Valentine's Day, right? February 13th to February 15th, the Lupercalia Festival. It's based on the wolf. Look it up. They're wolves in sheep's clothes, according to their own Bible. And their role reversal ninnies, the festival of Saturnalia, according to Christmas, right? The Western culture, especially in regards to the two most relevant, quote-unquote, romantic holidays, is being wolves in sheep's clothes and pretending that the opposition is. This is also why this culture doesn't allow for the true alpha. Again, that's Lupercalia, Valentine's Day time. That is Christmas, Xmas, right? Christ Mass, how much he weighs, his shape, his form, his figure, shape, backwards, E-pass. E means the temple, it means the temple, and that's how when people, in Sumerian, I believe. From Enki, one of the theories of his name is the E is referring to the temple. That's no small thing. Evil, emasculated. It has everything to do with being jealous of a hero's temple, the way he moves. It is so apparent, your parents, to Western scientists and to these cultists that the top martial artist was someone like me, not just because of the Narmer palette, but because of how they moved, how their body was shaped, their body structure, structural functionalism, and so on. That they put it in their wordplay at every damn turn. You know, background check, right? Okay, your background, the terrain, the field of science, the field of discipline, the battlefield, and so on. War, E, right? Obligate, okay? Obi, lay, okay? And expose the lie of the gay, T-E, as the gate, okay? Complicate, okay, also proves my point. Elaborate, right? L-O-B-O, rate. Right, I'm supposed to have written this down somewhere. Damn, I guess I'll have to go through this again, you know. So anyway, handsomeness is forged by the lifestyle, deity, and diet, right? I went over that. Sabotage, king of kings, is the king in his glory. The word grace, okay? God, race, or remove the G, Ra, Ka, versus the G as the Sumerian earth goddess, Ki. You know, another name for Ki and the G in Freemasonry, gnosis, hypnosis, right? Hypnotize, trance, you know, put someone in trance, right? Psychiatric, psyche, I-A, trick, right?